7 years ago, you was just a barber in the military.
Right.
And now you're worth millions of dollars.
Yes.
What I really want to ask is, why aren't there more brothers like you?
I knew I was a genius. Nobody knew that I was a genius but me. To everybody else, it's a shock. To me, it's not a shock. My plan was an 11-year plan to invest $3,000 a month and get a 30% return. And in 11 years, I'll be a millionaire.
Is that a foolproof plan? Would that happen with anybody who's like, I'm gonna invest this 3,000?
It's a strategy. And here's how you be profitable in the stock market. It's a strategy. You might want to write this down. It's 4. Number 1.
Class is in session once again. And as you know, this is a forum that just enlightens, inspires, and educates, specifically for the community. And I'm joined by someone who is an educator, an author, a husband, and a father, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. And here to tell us how to get our money right, especially in the space of investments. Aristotle Varner Jr., a.k.a. Aristotle Investments, man. What's poppin'?
How you doing, man? How you doing? Thank you for having me, by the way.
No doubt, man. I'm inspired by your story. I've seen quite a bit, and I just wanted to tap in and learn. Like, I want to sit here and I want you to teach me and our audience as if we know nothing about investments, man. And,
Right.
and one, I would love for you to share your testimony and your journey of really how you became a self-made millionaire, and then
Right.
how we can help other young brothers and sisters in the community following your footsteps.
Okay, so I started investing back in 2016. I joined the military in 2014 when I was 18 years old. And then I basically got curious about investing when I turned 20 because I was barbering while I was in the military. So I had 2 streams of income. I was
Okay.
active duty. And then basically I lived off my barber money and invested I lived off my Army money and invested my barber money. And I was making about $3K a month cutting hair. I just kept throwing that $3K a month into the stock market. And I got curious about it because I had like a lot of money saved up from barbering. I was like, well, this sitting still. So I Googled how to make money from my cell phone. And the only thing that kept popping up was investing because the Army took 12 hours of my day. So I would wake up at 5 a.m., wouldn't get home to 5 p.m. So I was like, it's too much time. Like, how can I speed up, getting out of the Army? Because I signed a 6-year contract. And then investing popped up. And I was studying IT at first, and I was going to school for IT. So I signed myself up for college, and I just quit college, quit everything, and just put all my energy into investing because I was already a scholar. And my job was IT, so I was pretty much, I would work on the satellites. I would make sure nobody hacked into the military system. So I wasn't an idiot or nothing like that.
Right.
I just rechanneled my energy into investing.
Right. So, I mean, when you say investing, we hear that all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and even the stock market. But for someone who may be foreign to that completely, what is investing? What is the stock market, and how can someone actually make money from that?
So when I say investing, I'm investing into stocks, buying shares of stocks. But I learned the option game, which speeded up the process of making money. So I learned options. At first, I started trading shares, and shares are when you buy a piece of the company outright. So, if Apple was worth $200 and I buy 1 share of Apple, I spend $200. And if I buy 10 shares of Apple, then that's gonna cost $2,000.
Right.
But if I buy it at the price of $200 and it goes up to $201, then I only made $10. But in options, if the price go up $1, I could possibly make $50 per contract that I buy. So it's contractual agreements that I'm buying. It's like leasing. It's basically like calls bet on the stock to go up, puts bet on the stock to go down.
Yeah.
So I got excited about that because I was like, oh, so now I can make money whether the stock go up and down. And usually, we were taught you can only make money if the stock go up.
Right.
So that's what attracted me to options because I was like, okay, I just got to learn.
Who taught you that?
Books. So at first it was the For Dummies series. I read Technical Analysis for Dummies. So technical analysis is study your price charts, which is the candlesticks, the stuff that you guys probably confused about.
Right.
Have you ever seen it, like the candlesticks, the charts,
all of that
indicators?
confusing stuff
Yeah.
when it comes to stocks.
Exactly. That's technical analysis, but that is how you get your entry price. And then fundamental analysis is how you see whether a company is profitable or worth investing into in the first place. So I use a combination of both. So what I do is I go to Yahoo Finance
Okay.
and I go and I look at the company's balance sheets. So you can type in a ticker symbol like Apple, Google, any ticker symbol.
Right.
And then you can go to the financials and then you can see whether a company is profitable yearly, quarterly. You can see their everything, cash flow statements. So Yahoo Finance is how I go see whether the company is profitable.
Okay.
So that's fundamental analysis, the study of balance sheets and profitability. And then technicals is where I get the entry price from. So now I need to see how far did it drop from the 52-week high. So there's 52 weeks in a year.
Okay.
So every company has a 52-week high.
Okay.
Right? So what I do is I'm looking for, so I got to explain this part, SPY, S-P-Y, right?
Okay.
That's
What is SPY?
the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500, which is comprised of 500 of the world's most profitable companies chosen by a committee.
Okay.
So that's like the Bitcoin of the stock market. And Ethereum.
The OG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So SPY is what we use to track the health of the market, just like Bitcoin is the health of crypto, right? So SPY is our Bitcoin and QQQ is our Ethereum, which is the tech companies, right? So I use QQQ which is the ticker symbol to gauge the tech companies, and SPY. What I like to do is if SPY drops, so SPY most recent high, if it drops 20% from it, that's technically called a bear market. Even by definition, if you Google bear market, it'll say must be 20% drop.
Right.
So wherever SPY is, I need to at least see a 20% drop. But I like to buy in the 30s and 40s because, that's typically where it bounces back. And 50%, what we like to do is dollar cost average in. So when SPY get to 20, some people buy the dip. It's cool to buy the dip, but you need to put in a little money. Let's just say I got 10,000. If SPY drop 20%, I might throw in 50% at, 20% drop, and then another 2,000 if it drops 10% more. Then another two all the way, because if my full size is 10,000, then I average in, and that's what like what we like to do. We like to buy dips, or I like to buy dips.
Right. So I got to reel you back in a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
You speaking Mandarin and Spanish at the same time.
Right.
So for the average person,
right.
Because you just laid a lot of game out there, but for the average person who's never invested, let's give them some starting points and spaces. Because what I love about your whole movement is you're empowering our community. You're showing that a brother like yourself can be self-made and extremely educated. You know what I mean? And it's not like you went to school for none of this stuff. And you're dominating in the space. So for all the people that are aspiring to do what you're doing and to be like you, one, how much money does it take to start an investment portfolio? And what should be the first steps once whatever that amount of money is at place?
You can start with as little as $100 to $1,000, really. But what I recommend
How much did you start? You said $3,000 a month was your income that you started investing in.
So my first plan was to invest $100 per week. That was my first plan.
In what though? And that's the thing, because you got to remember, some of us don't even know.
What?
They don't know.
It was in Acorns.
Okay.
So you heard of that app?
I have, but
right.
But
so that was my first plan. My first plan was to invest $100 a week, and then my plan was to get at least a 30% return each year.
And Acorn is an app, kind of even like Robinhood or something like you could just download.
Acorns invest your money into the S&P 500, but instead of putting it in SPY, they put it into what is called Vanguard, VOO, which is the same as SPY in my opinion.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It tracks the overall health of the market too.
So if I got an extra $100,
right,
and I got a phone, I could go and download Acorns,
right,
and give it to them, and they'll invest the money for me.
Yes, but you have to put it on aggressive, so they will
aggressively place it into something that can.
They will put it more into VOO. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, got
you. Put it on like the weak one, they gonna diversify, put it in bonds, put it in slow stuff.
And that, because we saying $100, but what's a real legitimate I'm really about to flip my money
it's about adding in more. So it's about cash flow.
Right.
So what I tell people is you need to, my first plan was I stopped playing video games. I stopped cable TV. I stopped everything. I cut off everything you could think of.
I heard you say that you was like, look, I'm all about this. Everything that is costing me time and money, I'm getting rid of.
I didn't go out no more.
Where did that come from? That's a brilliant philosophy of it's like, look, that's really managing your bandwidth.
Yeah, so where it came from was I just wrote down how much money I made, how much my
you
car,
assets and liabilities.
Exactly. And I realized, okay, I'm buying a pair of Jordans twice a month.
Yeah.
That's $400.
Right. You could be investing in Jordan.
You see what I'm saying? So that's $100
don't
a week.
Don't buy the Jordans, invest in Jordan. Don't buy the Nikes, invest in Nike.
Yeah, so but even at the same time, you got to go see if Nike is worth the investment, because we say that a lot. We'll tell people, okay, don't buy Starbucks every day, go buy the stock. Don't buy McDonald's every day, go buy the stock. But then you have outliers like Roku. That's a bad investment.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what if I was to tell somebody, I know you watching Roku, go buy the stock. But then you see what I'm saying? Then they aren't, put it like this. Roku will never reach the heights that they reached during the pandemic, just like Zoom video.
Right.
You remember when everybody had to stay at home, and
so you got to use your smarts. You got to see
it's
what's
about
going
timing.
On. And you feel like Acorns is for the entry level investor. That's the best one to jump into.
Robinhood is probably the best entry level.
Now, obviously, if we've seen the documentaries and we can Google Robinhood. There's controversial stuff about what they. Are they for the investor, or are they?
It's still not a bad app, but I think I can't say Robinhood first. If I had to say first, I'm gonna always say Thinkorswim, powered by TD Ameritrade, which is now owned by Charles Schwab.
Okay.
So Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade, and then second, I would say Webull. And then third.
So all of these apps are available in the App Store.
Yes.
And I could literally download them right now,
and
pull it up,
money.
and if I got 5 bands, I could just put it in there.
You can hook your bank up to it.
Hook my bank up to it, click aggressive, and
wire,
I'm making money.
You might have to wire, though, if you got a lot of money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or if you go by ACH
Now, do I
transfer.
ever talk to an individual? Because, I mean, that's the thing. We come from the old school
Thinkorswim, you can. That's why I recommend it.
Okay, to get you like an actual stockbroker.
They have the best customer service, Thinkorswim. That's why I would recommend it.
Now, old school, I'm a huge fan of Wolf of Wall Street, and you know what I mean? And just movies like that actually would, or even Wall Street in general, that film, like, it's like things where you watching Boiling Point, you watching these cats really get to it. You may understand it or you may not understand it, but it seemed like back in the day or maybe a few years ago, it was more about the individual and their hustle to jump in the trades and be on the floor and, right on wall, all of that stuff. But now, because of the way the technology is, are we saying the app has kind of replaced all of those individuals that were actually hustling and getting the information on you and knowing all of those things?
No.
So your typical stockbroker isn't what your stockbroker once was.
They still exist because hedge funds exist.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right,
that's a different. They're separate. From retail investors.
So
there's levels to it.
So break that down for us then, just for the average person, because
I can
you hear that's the thing. You hear, oh, I'm gonna go invest, and like, dang, do I need to get a stockbroker? Am I gonna be like Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street, or am I on some GameStop shit where
we did think that back in the day? It was a level of ignorance to it, but there's levels to it. You got. If I had to explain the hierarchy of the market, there's first high-frequency trading algorithms is number one. Meaning,
explain the high-frequency trading algorithms.
So high-frequency trading algorithms are basically, you got to think, in order to control the market, it has to be AI, period. You see what I'm saying? So this is computerized stuff.
Right.
And then you have hedge funds.
Right.
And then you have billionaires.
Right.
And then you have small hedge funds.
Got you.
And then you have us.
Yeah.
We're the bottom tier.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's levels to it. It gets but computers are the highest form.
Right. And so being at the bottom tier, and like you said, me and my $5,000 that I'm investing on Webull or Acorns, all that stuff. How do I become the self-made millionaire like you from my $5,000?
You would have to trade it up, day trade mostly. So
Day trading, that's an everyday thing, right?
So here's how you could do it. My plan was an 11-year plan. My plan was to invest $3,000 a month and get a 30% return. And in 11 years, I'll be a millionaire. Correct?
Say that again. So $3,000 a month. With how much return?
30% return.
30% return annually. Within
Right.
in 11 years will equal up to $1 million.
Yes. That was my first plan.
Right.
But it sped up because I wrote books. See what I'm saying?
You gave him game.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
so once I started writing, and I did this in the Army, I started with just selling it to the people in my chair because I was a barber.
Yeah.
And, they know people, so they telling people. Like, it just went wild.
Yeah.
I went viral in the Army at first.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went viral locally at first at Fort Stewart in Savannah, Georgia.
Right.
So I was stationed there for 6 years.
So selling information is really where the bag came to for you.
It came at first with investing.
Yeah.
So it came, they both did.
Yeah.
And I would reinvest that bag into the stock market.
Right.
And I would reinvest that bag into advertising. I would still invest it. You see what I'm saying? But
100%.
That's where, yeah. And then now I just reinvest the money, but I mainly teach people how to get started. But I still make 7 figures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing what I do.
So then that brings me up to a point because I have so many different people from different walks of life, from real estate to professors coming here, and they giving us the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're here to educate, and they're specifically doing it for the community. But then there's that small margin of people who are selling dreams.
Right.
And people feel like they're being scammed. People feel like, oh man, well, that's just smoke and mirrors. I can't actually do that. It sounds like obviously you have something tangible to say. Everybody knows the stock market is real.
Right.
But to be able to encourage and inspire and teach is ultimately what you've built your business on. How do you differentiate from the scammers out there?
So I don't sell a dream of I can make you a millionaire. I say I can replace your 9 to 5. That's my thing, because that's where
and
it
you're
starts.
offering legitimate information of even what you just told us in literally this first 20-something minutes. You enlightened so many just on the process of the market.
So the market works like this. For one, you have to believe in the premises that history will repeat itself, correct?
Right.
So the market moves in, it's an uphill, it's like a climb. But one thing you got to realize is always going to trend
Peaks
up.
and valleys.
So here's why I always tell people the market will always go up. For one, 401ks is this for a reason. Banks, what do they do with your money? They lend it out to other people and they invest it into the stock market. 401ks, life insurance. Life insurance depends on the stock market going up.
Right.
So you got to think, why would these people make billion-dollar corporations if they didn't believe this is going to go up for the next 20 years?
Right.
Why would they even? You get what I'm saying?
So that's brilliant. That's a simplistic way to put it. So as a black man, who working a 9 to 5,
right,
heard about the stock market, you know what I mean, but doesn't really understand how it applies to his life.
right.
What information and knowledge would you give them? Because even let's talk the current climate of the market, or the climate of we've heard that it's not doing so well, or the stock market is crashing.
That's just news. That it didn't crash.
Right. So but when you hear that on the news,
is 20% from the most recent high. It hasn't dropped 20%.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
but how does that apply to the average Joe's life?
Well, for one, everybody is investing into the stock market, whether they like it or not.
Yeah,
so
explain
let me
that.
explain that.
Yeah.
You have an iPhone. I have an iPhone.
Right.
Apple has to report their earnings yearly and quarterly.
Right.
When you pay your iPhone bill or when you pay your Apple subscription for your music, you are contributing to the revenue of Apple.
Right.
When you buy a pair of Nikes, you are contributing to the revenue of Nike when they report their earnings. When you buy anything, so whether all of us like it or not, we're all participating in the stock market because they have to report their revenue. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And during supply and demand, like Crocs, for example.
Yeah.
Crocs are back in style, right?
Yep.
So if you go look at Crocs' recent chart, you'll see that it went up. So it's all about supply and demand. So when there's a demand for something, who's supplying it?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. So during COVID, there was demand for stay-at-home activities, right? Now, who's supplying it? Zoom is supplying it. Roku is supplying it. Who else? Peloton. People wanted exercise equipment. You see what I'm saying? What else jumped during COVID? A lot of stuff.
Uber Eats.
Yeah,
and all
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
DoorDash, everything. And a lot of these companies still can't reach to the heights that they did during COVID.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, some did, and those are the strong ones. Like NVIDIA is the hottest stock right now because...
Tell me why NVIDIA is the hottest stock.
Because they're selling a shovel during the gold rush. The gold rush is AI and technology, and they're selling the chips. So they say sometimes if you can't get rich during the gold rush, sell the shovel.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you ain't got to be the one out there digging for the gold.
Exactly.
Just sell the
You're
shovel.
not going to be the one who strike gold, but what if you got rich off selling the shovel?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what they are. They selling chips during the gold rush of AI and technology, and everybody's buying it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so they're
that's smart.
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff that people got to realize. Everybody's contributing to the stock market.
Right.
So that's why I tell people, for one, it's your American right to invest into the stock market because you're already contributing to it.
Right.
Your dollar is a part of that revenue.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So going back to your 11-year plan, which is a brilliant plan. You know what I mean? If you have $3,000 a month to invest with a 30% increase at the end of the year, in 11 years that equals $1 million. Is that a foolproof plan? Would that happen with anybody who's like I'm gonna invest this $3,000?
It's a strategy. So the strategy is to buy during catastrophes. So when COVID, remember I just told you the stock market is going to always go up.
Yeah.
Right. But it's about buying the dip.
Yeah.
And then it goes up. Then you buy the dip. Then it goes up.
So when
again.
you say you buy the dip, that's like putting more of your money down on something.
You gotta let it
Is
crash.
that an individual thing or is that the market in general?
The goal is to wait for the market to crash.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So when we hear that the stock market is crashing,
that's when you buy.
The smart people are like, it's time to buy.
It's time to dollar cost average into it.
To dollar cost average, and you teaching me all the game.
You see what I'm saying? You don't just go full size ever your first entry.
Explain what the dollar cost average is.
So one more time, I got $10,000 to invest.
Right.
I just heard the market crash. So for one, I got to go see if it's at least 20% decline from the most recent high. So it's a tool that I use on TradingView that shows me whether it's a 20, but you can do the math if you want to, if you're good at math.
Right.
So SPY I forgot what the 52-week high was, but let's just say it was at 550, right?
Okay.
So 20% decline from 550, I don't know what, let's just say 480. So every 10% that it keeps declining after 20%, that's you dollar cost average in. So I got 10,000, I might throw in 4K, drops 10% again, 2K, drops 10% again, 2K, drops 10% again, 2K. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
But experienced investors like myself are going to wait a little bit past the 20% decline. 30% to me is the best time to really throw in 50% of your money and then dollar cost average in the rest.
So what's the risk in that?
The risk is if the world just ends. And you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
But remember what I told you. You got to believe in the premises that history repeats itself.
And so even if it seems like, okay, I bought $5,000 worth of this at its lowest at 30%.
Right.
I know it's going to go back up.
But see, not just SPY. You got to see other companies like Meta drop like 70%.
Right.
I bought Meta in the 90s.
Right.
And I bought Leaps.
Right.
I turned 10,000 into like 180K.
Right.
NVIDIA, I turned 13,000 into 250K.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Leaps are long dated option contract. That's the best way to get rich.
Right.
Now, that's the best. See, I turned 100K into 600K.
Right.
Off Leaps.
Oh,
See
wow.
what I'm saying?
So, and how long you been doing this?
7 years.
So from 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
you was just a barber in the military,
Right.
and now you worth millions of dollars.
Yes.
You want, and a lot of that is obviously because I want to phrase my questions properly.
Right.
A lot of that is because of who you are and what you've built.
Everybody wanted to learn. You
Yeah.
gotta think.
So that's is that the majority of where your
Hell
wealth
yeah.
came from, or so how much of your wealth actually came from the stock market? Because what I really want to ask is, why aren't there more brothers like you? Why
I made
aren't there
millions in the stock market?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I made more millions off
given the game?
But not even that. I actually made more money trading than I did from my mentorship program.
Okay.
I have what is called a chat where people can see my plays. That's where the money is.
That's where it is.
So it's funny when people say you made more money teaching than you made trading. No, I actually made more money trading than teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I don't make a lot of money off my mentorship program.
Yeah.
My biggest money maker is we live trade every single day.
So is live trading where it's at? Like, tell me why that's the biggest money maker for you.
Because you got to think, people are paying me $125 a month, but I'm returning them thousands
Right.
in a month.
So what do you get it right every time?
I have a great win rate. Like this week, like so far this year, I have about an 80% win rate.
Wow.
And this week I hit 6 out of 8. So it's
You're in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. I'm probably, if not the best signal caller in the world, one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Like me.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And did you ever imagine like this would be your life? Like even in this direction. Like when you was a kid, what'd you want to be when you grew up?
Michael Vick.
Like
And
an
it's
athlete,
funny because
right?
I just went to Africa with Michael Vick.
Right.
Literally, I actually treated him to that trip.
Wow.
Because I said, you my childhood hero, man. I just want to, treat you to Africa. And
wow.
Yeah, that was literally.
So then, like, I mean, obviously you gave us the game on how you got here, but
Right.
even in that space, like, your story is remarkable. It wasn't even like you knew a stockbroker or you had a family member. You said, I want to figure out how to make money on my phone 7 years ago.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And I gotta understand your philosophies, man. Like even like the person that you are.
I knew I was a genius. Nobody knew that I was a genius but me.
Talk
you know what I'm
that
saying?
talk.
So it's like, to everybody else it's a shock. To me, it's not a shock.
Right.
Because I got into the Army and I made a high score.
Yeah.
I just couldn't afford college. That was the only reason I even went to the Army. I was supposed to go to college.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
you couldn't afford it.
My mother or father didn't work my entire time of high school.
Wow.
So I had to buy my own school clothes. So it forced me to hustle. I already knew when I turned 18 that I had to get out the house and fend for myself.
Right.
So at 14, I knew that. My mom told me at 14, when you turn 18, you got to get out the house.
You got to go. You got to get out of here.
You see what I'm saying? So I already got in my head, I'm an adult when I
Right.
turn 18, but I start thinking about being an adult at a very young age, at 14.
Right.
I worked 5 jobs in high school. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at Kroger. I worked at a daycare.
Just a hustler from the
I've
gate.
been a hustler. Like, even since I was 9 years old, I had jobs. I was making $40 a week when I was 9 years old.
So clearly there's a lot of D-boys, there's a lot of trappers, there's a lot of all type of guys out there that aren't doing it, by the book, but they got that hustle in them. What is your advice to clearly be like, yo, you ain't got to do shit that's going to have you ending up in prison. Learn this game right here in the same way that you move and work. And
I got the perfect.
Yeah.
All I can do is tell them how I did it. So you got to have 2 streams of income. Live off one, invest the other.
Y'all got that? You got to have 2 streams of income.
2 streams.
Live off one and invest the other.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So I lived off my Army money and invested in my
barber money.
But in actuality, it's kind of like I invested in my Army money because I invested $4K a month, really. Because I made $4K a month from the Army, made $3K a month investing.
So you
not investing, but barbering.
From barbering.
I threw that whole $3K because I felt like it was, even if I lose it, I'm still going to make $3K a month barbering.
Yeah.
Because I lived in a barracks. So you know what a barracks is, right?
Yeah, facts.
So you got
on base.
The whole barracks came to me, plus those barracks, plus those barracks. So I had maybe like a 50 to 100 guy a week churn clientele.
Right. So
it's
see,
like
well,
a
everybody
subscription.
doesn't have but like
They don't.
that network, because that's kind of dope. Because you were probably the only person in your barracks or in your army talking and moving like this.
I
So they're
was.
like, I want some of that too. So then ultimately you became the broker for the entire.
Thank you. So they buying my book.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at first I was selling that book for $5. But you gotta think, I'm cutting hair and everybody buying the book. And they telling somebody about me.
Well, how'd you get into like even because that world is another world, like
I got
publishing
tired
and
of-
book. Like how did you be like, I need to put a book out?
Great question. So the reason I wrote the book was because so many people was asking me. This was back in 2018, before everybody became gurus in 2020.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't even think I was a guru.
Right.
I'm a guru by like force. People was like, hey bro, at first I'm just posting my gains on social media.
Right.
For the love, for free. I wasn't selling anything. And everybody was like, bro, you gotta help me, you gotta help me. But when it's 100 people saying you gotta help me, you like, how the hell can I help 100 people?
Yeah.
Without extending myself too much. You see what I'm
Got it.
saying? And that's where the book came in. And
That's dope. So
yeah.
and then do you know how many copies of the book you've sold up until
Hell
today?
yeah, like it's crazy because I sold a book for $5 and I made $1,500.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Off
yeah.
that $5
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Mostly from Army people, and the other came from Instagram.
And how long ago was this when you
This
dropped that
was
book?
2017 when I dropped the $5 book.
Okay.
But the $20 book dropped January 2019, right?
Right.
And that one went wildfire.
Right.
Like that one made me a lot of money, like $500,000.
What's the name of that book?
Aristotle Investing Guide.
Okay, that's the one. That's the one that's still cooking. If I'm saying, because obviously people want to. Still, is it still available?
I discontinued the book because you increase your knowledge as you go. I'm writing every time I get better, I give the game to my community.
Got it.
I don't ever like just be like, okay, I'm good, and then
it's a
Continuous.
living, breathing organism of
Exactly.
growth. So like
I'm gonna have to
the
write
game
another book.
the game that was in 2019 doesn't
No.
apply to 2024 and
Thank
25.
Thank you. It was just the book was teaching them technical analysis, fundamental analysis, how to read the stock market, my strategies that I'm using.
Got you.
Right? And it was a form of technical analysis, chart patterns, things like that, right? And that everybody loved that book. But
Right.
it's funny because I'm like, dang, that book is so outdated.
Right,
And
right.
somehow, some way, they find a way to buy it still.
Right.
Like, it still sells. Like, I make about $400 a day off that book to this day.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, off all my books.
Yeah.
Without doing nothing, because I don't run ads on them. I know I'm gonna make $400 to $1,000 a day off of them.
And then you invest in that. You putting that into, at this point, it's just a constant like.
Yeah, like, but you gotta think I got like maybe 20 streams of income.
Right. So okay, let's break that down. You went from having 2 streams of income, and with an 11-year plan, you was gonna become a millionaire off of that.
Right.
Now you just told me you have 20 streams of income. One, how do you manage all of that,
Right.
and what is your bandwidth, and how did you get? Like, let's break it down. What
You like me to list them?
Yeah, yes, sir. I want to hear.
All right,
it.
I'm gonna try.
All right.
So, investing.
Okay.
Number one. Option trading. That's one.
What's the difference between investing and option
Well,
trading? Just I know you
long-
said it, but just to kind
Long-term trade. There's different forms.
Yeah.
Long-term trading, swing trading, day trading,
right.
and leap trading. So I make money in 5 different ways off the stock market.
Right. Okay.
Long-term options, day trading, and swing trading options. Those are 2.
And
Dividends.
Okay.
You see what I'm
And
saying?
how long did it take you to even understand all of that? Like, because you, like you said, when you first did it,
Right.
that wasn't part of the 11-year plan. But now you making, money 5 different ways off of the stock market as opposed to that one plan.
I don't, like
It just came. It just
education.
So what? Like, did you have a mentor, or is it just because you just jumped?
I'm
into
old school, like.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, if I'm being honest, 2020 is what really leveled it up because I started a mentorship program in 2020.
Right.
But I started a mentorship program with 2 other millionaires.
Got it.
So us 3 kept giving each other games. So whatever I knew, I gave to them, and whatever they knew, they gave to me. So it was like a friendship. We call it a collab mentorship. We still do it to this day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I actually make more money off trading than I do off that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Got
the
it.
money we make comes from us telling people what we buy and
Right.
sell every day.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but if I had to keep going, the other streams I have, of course, is YouTube. That's number 6. Books. I have 3 books. So, but if you want to just, and then I have real estate. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I have high yield savings accounts. That's already 10.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then I have it just keeps going on and on. Like, I'm having a man,
Nah,
like,
I could imagine.
That's already 10 streams.
Once you're making a certain amount of money, then even just based on you might be investing in something that whether it's entertainment, you may be investing in
Exactly. I like to diversify.
Yeah. So, and we hear that a lot of times, like diversifying one's portfolio.
Exactly.
One, what is a portfolio,
Mhm.
and how does one build it? And then obviously,
Your portfolio is you.
Yeah.
You have a portfolio.
Say that.
Your entertainment, TV deals, this, that. That's Nick Cannon's portfolio. This, another addition.
And then
to the
it's just
portfolio.
really, so when you build a portfolio physically, it's just really breaking down who the individual is and what they're worth and what they've built. So
Yes.
my portfolio would say I've invested in this, I created this, I own this property. That's what a portfolio is.
Right.
Now, once you have your physical portfolio, what is it? Is that just to show, to be like, or is that can your portfolio make you money in this space?
In what space?
In the space of investing, because you hear like, oh, I viewed that person's portfolio, and therefore I want to copy or mimic.
Well,
or
there's
invest
a
with
different
them.
So I have a stock market portfolio, and then I have a business portfolio.
Right.
My portfolio. I look at my portfolio as overall.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm more of a serial entrepreneur. For real.
Got
you. Get what
you.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm really I won Entrepreneur of the Year for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm actually, in my opinion, I don't know. I feel like it's a tie. I would say I'm a better businessman than I am an investor.
Right.
But then I'm a great marketer.
Yeah.
I'm a great, I market my own business. I run my own ads.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm vertically integrated.
And you
throughout
understand
everything.
it yourself.
Yes, I understand everything about everything I do.
So where's the downfall? What's the risk in all
The negative
this? Yeah.
of being me,
Yes.
hamster wheel.
Really? You can't jump off.
It feels like I'm running on a hamster wheel. Exactly. I
Yeah.
jump off.
So where do you find your peace? Where do you find your solace?
Traveling.
Really? Okay.
That's the only way. I don't watch TV. Football is something I like watching too.
Right.
I like to go to football games, sometimes basketball games, but I got a real deep love and passion for football.
Well,
but traveling,
you could be the first black NFL owner.
I would. I got this.
We still ain't got one.
It's crazy because I got this project, and I'll say it here on this camera. I got this big project coming out. I just bought a building cash in Southside Atlanta. I bought it for $3.6 million.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the name Jay Morrison. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
So remember that building that he bought with the funds money?
Right.
I bought that building.
The exact same building.
The exact same building.
Okay.
For 3.6 cash.
Okay.
And I'll tell you off camera what I'm turning that building into.
Right.
If this released before I don't want
Yeah.
nobody copying it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm turning that building into a state of the art, and it's fully funded by me.
So it sounds like obviously you got big plans. You literally changed your life within 7 years.
Right.
You superseded your 11-year plan by leaps and bounds.
For sure.
Currently, as I sit across from you right now, what's the ultimate goal? What are you looking to achieve?
To help Black people specifically first. Now, whoever wants to come and learn too, cool. But
Right.
I believe empowering the young Black man is the most important thing we can do first.
Indeed.
You see what I'm saying?
Helping ourselves.
Exactly. But the young Black man, because we the leader of the household.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If we're not empowered financially,
then the household fails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So that's first and foremost. And then also the young Black women, both.
Yeah.
I want to empower them both. And that's
So
what
for the
this new
young Black
project
woman
I'm
who
doing.
doesn't have a Black man in her life, she could do it as well.
That's the goal. I already made well over 8 figures in my lifetime. I
Right.
superseded whatever type of money
So is that still a goal of your? Are is there a number that you want to reach or what you want to be worth? So then that actually uh, intensifies the value of your stewardship and your ability to help others.
Yes. But I don't really like to say that on camera because it sounds
Yeah, I want you because it sounds like you're making it about you.
exactly
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I'm really trying to make an impact. You know what I'm
You want to
saying?
be the Black Warren Buffett,
I don't even want to be the richest man in the world. I just really want to make an impact
right?
and help people get into financial literacy. But
But that's the thing. Like from my knowledge, I mean, I've had an opportunity to build with Warren Buffett on a couple of different occasions. It seems like he was a man of the community and like
I feel like the money will follow. If I
yeah,
make
his
an
heart was
impact.
like I just want to help people in the same way, and all you gotta do is follow my moves. And a lot of people followed his moves, and they became rich as well.
Like something Warren Buffett said, buy when people are fearful, sell when they are greedy. So some more game. It's an indicator that you can Google called Fear and Greed Index. The Fear and Greed Index tracks how fearful and how greedy the overall scope of the market is. So what you'll notice is when the Fear and Greed Index says extreme fear, so on the left side it'll say extreme fear, and on the right side it'll say extreme greed, and in the middle it'll say neutral, correct?
Right.
So on extreme fear, you'll notice that the market, and sometimes the market don't even drop that much. It just depends. You got to track that though.
Right.
That's one of the best advice Warren Buffett could have ever gave
Right.
everybody. Because remember, I just told you, you're supposed to buy when the market crashes.
Right.
And what happens when the market crashes?
People get scared.
Fear.
Yeah.
That's when you buy.
Yeah.
But see, people have it opposite. We believe when the stock goes up, we need to chase it.
Right.
You're really supposed to buy when the stock goes down. But
And
then,
that's the genius in it. That's the brilliance of people who
Exactly.
know what to invest in.
buying the dip.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the, if I had to be honest, if I had to break down the stock market in the most simplest terms, I just said it plenty of times. Wait for a market drop. Wait for something bad to happen. Like
Right.
extremely bad. I'm still waiting on it. There's nothing that bad happened yet. Now, when that happens, now you got to have money on the side. But see, I'm an experienced investor. See, I'm about to load up. I'm putting in money now. I'm waiting. Like, okay, we want to drop? Please do. So I can get rich again.
Right,
That's
right.
the point. The stock market, in my opinion, is the greatest way to make money for the rest of your life, in my personal opinion,
Right.
especially if you understand it.
Right.
Because all I'm going to do for the rest of my life is keep letting it, because it's going to drop every 2 years, right?
Right.
So even this market drop, the market has been going up for a long time, and then when it drops just a little bit, everybody's scared.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I tell people, look, even if you're scared, you can invest.
Yeah.
Put some in there, but don't put it all in there because it could still keep dropping lower. So at least expose yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
You've had all of this, or you've accumulated all of this wisdom within 7 years. Like you knew nothing about the stock market 7 years ago, and now, like you said, you probably feel like you're one of the best to do it in your space.
yes.
Where does that come from? That's that like people like is that an anointing? Is that
Sometimes, yeah, I feel
like
that.
how like that doesn't you can't meet a nigga who didn't play basketball 7 years ago
Right.
and now he in the NBA. Like that
Right.
just doesn't happen. Like
I feel like if I had to be really honest, I might be the first black man to go to the white folks and learn what they know. My information didn't come from black people. I literally, it's like I went to the slave master house, got all the information, and brought it back to the field.
right,
That's me, if I'm being honest.
right.
That's what I feel like people really don't understand about why I'm so good at it, is because
You're the
I
only one of
literally-
your kind.
Exactly. I'm the one that they trusted and really fuck with. You see
So
what I'm
what do
saying?
you feel like you learned from the people that were more well off than you that you now apply to your life and then that you can pass on the game to us?
Lots. Like,
The basic. Just give me the top 3 things they taught you.
the strategies, man. Like,
So those are the
I'ma
things that
give
are
you
in your
something.
book. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll never directly, one thing I learned is people not going to directly teach you. You got to learn it, and you got to figure out. You got to learn it for yourself. You just got to get the clues.
They allow you to
It's
be
like
around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like collecting infinity stones.
Right.
It's like, that's what I did. Like, it's like, okay, I go to this guy and I get a gym. I won't go to him. I just be around him and I get a gym.
Right.
I be around him, I get a gym. Then it's just like a collective sponge. You see what I'm saying? Then after a while, I'm Thanos because I done collected them all.
Got them all.
You see what I'm saying? So I came up with this strategy to be profitable. And here's how you be profitable in the stock market. It's a strategy. You might want to write this down. It's 4.
Let's go.
It's 4. It goes like this. Number 1, risk management.
Risk management.
How do you manage your money?
Okay.
Right? Number 2 is high probability setups. So risk management is number 1 because if you don't know how to manage your money, have a strategy. You see how I'm dollar cost average and all that? That's a strategy. That's risk management.
Okay.
Right? That's the risk management strategy. Number 2 is high probability setup. So what does that mean? A setup is chart patterns. This company has declined 50%. It's sitting on this 200 MA, and it's oversold on the RSI. People people who know stock, they know what I'm talking about.
Right.
A high probability setup. What am I risking my money on? But making sure that this means that if I play this setup 100 times, it should hit at least 75 to 80 times.
That's what high probability setup is.
Exactly.
It's a high probability that this is going to win.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So that's number 2. Number 3 is discipline. The discipline to only play your high probability setups. Because a lot of times people will get undisciplined.
And they're going to want to do other stuff.
Oh, I want to invest in GameStop.
Yeah.
I want to invest in the new whatever, the new this and that. I don't follow no trends. I stay disciplined with my strategy.
Right.
That's something I had to learn. Because when you start chasing, you might go believe, like for instance, the dude, whatever his name, Kitty, GameStop dude, said he about to invest in Chewy.
Right.
Everybody decided to buy it, now it's going down.
Right.
He said he's investing, whatever he invests in, people just going to throw in a bunch of money.
Because he was right once.
You see what I'm saying? So that's called lack of discipline and patience. Patience to wait on number 2 and number 3 too. You see what I'm saying? So if I had to say it in order, risk management, high probability setups, discipline, patience.
Got you.
You have to be good, not great, but at least good at all 4 of these in order to be profitable in the stock market. If one of these are missing, I'm telling you, like, it doesn't even matter. If you suck at risk management, you're gonna lose money.
Yeah.
You don't have high probability setups, you're just trading off hope.
Yeah.
You don't even know what setup to even place your money in.
Right.
You don't have discipline, you still gonna lose money. And if you don't have patience, now you don't even trust your setup. You see what I'm saying?
And that seems like it goes all the way back to what you originally said from what your initial plan was, an 11-year plan to become a millionaire. You applied all of these things to that as well.
Exactly.
So people may not be able to.
That's actually my strategy, by the way.
Yeah. That they won't jump as fast as you did, but like you said, $3,000 a month with a 30% increase for 11 years gets you.
But 11 years is still fast to be a millionaire.
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta think, like, there's people who 30 now who could have started when they was 20.
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying?
So let's talk about it, man, because obviously, you done laid so much game on it. If somebody wants to start this or follow you or buy your books, how do they find you? And what's the next course of being able to rock with Aristotle Investments?
So what I do is, I said, I got to start being able to charge something cheap. So what I do is I just have people come in for $35. They can comment trial under any of my posts.
Okay.
And I'll send them a link. And I have this 6-step process in the read first section of my Discord that helps people get started. And I have beginners courses, which is going to teach them fundamental analysis, technical analysis, how to understand stocks. I break it down to the point where because what I had to learn is most people are as smart as they were from a teenager. You get what I'm saying? Most people. So
Break that down.
So you gotta think. Most people are an extension of their teenage self.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So everything that you learned as a teenager, that's probably the most you're gonna learn when it comes to fundamentals.
Life.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like most people are.
You're gonna be
just an
stuck in
extension
your
of
ways.
You know, and they become. Of course, some people mature as they get older, but I learned if you can teach a 16-year-old, you can teach anybody. So I break it down to the point where I literally talk to teenagers.
Right.
And then it's crazy because in my investing mentorship, everybody be 30 and up.
Mm.
That's my biggest clientele.
Right.
But I be talking to them like they're 16.
Right.
But they understand it that way.
Yeah,
because that's the level of education that you got to think. So that's how I teach.
Right.
Is I'm talking to you like you're a teenager.
Wow.
Because I had to learn too. Let's just say, you see how I'm talking to you about these high probability sales. When I start saying the RSI, this and that, you don't understand none of that.
Right.
I'm talking to you on my level.
Right.
But when I start breaking it down to the point where damn near you in high school,
Yeah.
you understand it.
That's even why we did that. I was like, nah, slow it down. Like, nah, give us what is this? What's a portfolio? What's it?
Like straight up on their level, and then nobody can understand them.
Talking over their heads.
They do it on purpose.
Because they don't really want you to know the sauce.
Exactly, so they can increase the price.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, I had to learn. I have a different business model. I charge cheap,
right,
but to a lot of people, and
right,
it adds up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Wise. Yeah.
So I got 10,000 people paying a $100 a month subscription.
Right. Bread. You do the math. 10,000 times 100. That's what he pulling in every month.
See what I'm saying? So yes, my business does bring in 7 figures a month.
Yeah.
So that's why, we not really pressed to, like, don't nobody want to be our friend, we don't care. We not invited to the party, we don't care.
Right.
Nobody want to network with us, we don't care.
Yeah.
I bought my own building with my own cash, and I'm going to finance it, and I'm going to get it renovated with my own money.
Dope. Well, I mean, you laced us with so much game today. This has definitely been a class that I know is going to go super viral. People going to be watching it over and over because I'm going to go watch it back a few times because I know you taught really to the T, you know what I mean, like of how you did it and how someone else can do it. And you're truly an inspiration. I mean, that's why I wanted to build with you because, like, your story is super remarkable. But the fact that you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you really want to help our community. You want to get this game out there. And we continuing to watch you shine and thrive. And it only becomes more of an inspiration the more successful you become. So keep going, man. And, it's been a powerful class. Like I said, how do they connect with you? Follow, likes, all.
Aristotle Investments. So ARISTOTLE_investments on Instagram.
Is that your real name?
Yes, that's my middle name actually.
Oh, okay. See,
it is.
Mama knew it that you were set up for greatness.
Yeah, for sure.
My God,
it's actually my grandmother. I'm a junior.
Oh, okay.
So my dad's name is Aristotle too.
Lineage, history, come from good stock. Well, it's been another session of Cannon's class adjourned.
Let's get it.